perfect storm looms, you will need at least 2 years worth of food. That's what one economist, one financial advisor that sees cycles, that's been proven right several times in the past, that's what he's saying. He's saying we could really see something like this take place, no matter who wins the election, because we have set in place a snowball that we can't stop. Let's jump into it today, and then we're going to discuss exactly how we can actually do that. And we have tons of videos on it, but let's dive a little deeper today. So you know what, we talked about budgeting yesterday. We talked about the severity of things going on. What are we doing to prepare, and can we legitimately put up 2 years worth of food? Let's jump into it today. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you're new to the channel, go on here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up if you like the content of today's video. If you don't, that's okay. Give me a thumbs down, but let me know what you think about the video. The point of what we do on this channel is hopefully to prepare you, but not only that, let's just try to gain a common sense approach to what we're living through. We're living through some crazy times. And yes, we live in cycles in America and in the world. And it seems like we're going in a bad trajectory right now. Now, today we're going to discuss exactly what Mr. Armstrong said, but also we do have a giveaway we're going to be tying to the video, the sponsor of today, and we can't wait to share it with you. But also that the product is something that's pretty important too when it comes to these kind of conversations. Now let's jump into what Mr. Martin Armstrong said and why this is important to focus on as an insurance and preparedness for our families. Legendary financial and geopolitical cycle analyst Martin Armstrong has new data from the Biden administration and wants to show you exactly how it's doing. Now this is from an article from USA Watchdog. It says it's not doing well. Armstrong said the U.S. government could default on its debt as soon as 25. Now, he said traditionally it probably will be closer to 27. He said, I know a lot of people are pushing the fact that the economy is doing bad. He said, however, the world is doing bad. He said, Europe's doing bad, Japan's doing bad, America's doing bad. He said, but as a whole, they will be able to kick the can down the road and hold on probably for another year or two. He said you could possibly see something 2025 no matter what, especially if Biden gets back in. He said, but honestly, it's probably going to be closer to 2027. He said that is why they have to have war. Now, why did he say that? So let's dive a little deeper of saying, okay, we're seeing 2025 to 2027 most likely will be a default of debt. And why is it important to say this is why they're pushing for war so much even now? He said they think going to war will be the perfect excuse to default on debt. They simply will not pay China what they owe them. If they try to sell their debt, good luck, because no one can purchase our debt. Everybody is struggling, Japan, Europe, and of course America, like we talked about. We are not redeeming it. The same thing is happening, of course, across most of the world. So he said, so once this happens, you will go to war and they will have every excuse for the whole debt to basically collapse, which wipes out all pensions. And again, it allows them to blame the bad guy, Putin. This will be perfect timing for us to bring into a new centralized digital currency, which has already been established by the IMF. He said that this will give them the excuse, though, of defaulted debt, defaulted pensions, and shortages will take place. He says the perfect storm, the absolute perfect storm. He said because people are so desperate because they've not prepared. He said people are so desperate because they've just lost all their retirements and pensions because the market tanked, debt crisis really took place. He said they will starve and beg. He said they will beg for a CDBC. They will beg for a digitized currency so they can feed their families and quote unquote build their retirement back up. He said this will allow for a change of system. He said, but they need war to take place. I'm going to tell you how he prepares, what Armstrong said that he is personally doing. But before that, a word from today's sponsor. The sponsor of today's video is Vanish. And I'm so excited about this massive giveaway that I'm going to be doing. I did one just a few weeks ago. We're going to be doing another one today. We are launching the biggest giveaway I've ever done on this channel. Thanks to Vanish Holsters, we are giving one of you this $80,000 custom Rocky Ridge Silverado for free to one lucky American who buys this holster or even a t-shirt by June 3rd. This is not your average range day holster. This holster is comfortable and also very easy around the waist. It allows you to not to have any excuses when it comes to your EDC and making sure that you are safe each and every day. comfortable and discreet, you'll forget that you're wearing it. This is something I practice every day. When I don't carry, then I actually feel like I'm missing something, kind of like if you're missing your keys, your wallet, or your phone. This holster fits 99% of all everyday carry handguns. It offers a wide range of carrying positions. Now, I typically wear mine right at the belt. However, Misty, my wife, wears hers a little bit higher on her side. She likes hers right below the ribs. We live in a very, very chaotic world. We live in a very unsafe world. So why don't we give ourselves a little bit more security in making sure that not only are we comfortable with the firearm, with the everyday carry, but also we're carrying it in a very comfortable way. It also carries 2 magazines for quick reloads and also for your safety and security, and you're not feeling that punch right in your gut. A very safe and effective way to carry. To enter, all you have to do is click the link below. Get the most comfortable holster that you'll ever wear. Money back guarantee if you don't like it. And Vanish will hook you up. Not only will you be entered into the giveaway, you are getting $50 off the retail price. They're knocking the price down for you when you use the link below. Special pricing for our viewers only. Do not wait and do not miss this exclusive discount. Check out Vanish holsters. You'll be glad you did. Make sure you do it before June 3rd so you can not only get a good holster, but you can also get in the giveaway for that awesome truck. Now back to the video. Armstrong, and for a common person, this is what I'm doing and this is what everybody should be doing. I think you need safely 2 years worth of food. Now, I always preach 7 years, you need to build up to optimal, but at least 3 to 6 months. But he's saying 2 years worth of food supply. This is what I personally have. This is not just about price inflation. He said this is mainly because shortages, because the world depends on global trade when it comes to food, and we will be in shortage, especially with time of war, time of debt. Then you do not know what is coming, and you do not know what the currency will look like. He said, so if you prepare and you have this 2 years worth of food and you realize that the value of the dollar is going to be destroyed and you have got to be put on this CBDC, he said if you have the food, it allows you not to have to panic that most people have. He even said, most people will not heed the warning. Most people will be begging at the feet of government to provide for them because they've lost everything they had, and they will go like sheep to the slaughter straight to following this new centralized currency. Armstrong's most recent data shows that government's ratings are even worse than the president's. He said they're probably closer to 8% when you really survey everyone, not just some little scheme of pool of Democrats and Republicans. He said, but when you actually say who trusts government, it's less than about 7 to 8%. He said Congress is around 7% too. He said, so therefore, the trust in government as a whole is going to falter, and it's going to falter even more. He said when you distrust your leadership, you don't trust the war, you don't trust the debt, you don't trust the money, he said we are looking at a very perfect storm to destroy all the good things that we have going on in America. Armstrong said that's exactly why I buy gold and silver, because I know the faith in the government is weakened, and I believe that we will see this crash. Gold is bouncing at 2,300 and it will rally. It is the way of the world and how it will hold on to currency in a tough, volatile time. War is coming sooner than later, and this announcement is just like when, just this week, Poland even made notice that there is American troops in Ukraine. Poland let that slip. Also, Ukraine said that, well, with us joining NATO, that is going to obligate more of these troops. So we're already building the bad guy. We're already building the system. So if this guy is right, he's a geopolitical analyst, he's a money analyst, a financial analyst, and he's been proven right on a lot. So if he is somewhat right, you're starting to see the brink of war. You're starting to see NATO coming alongside Ukraine even more. You're starting to see that we're not faltering in the fact that we're giving tons of money to this war. We've also built new style military capabilities for Taiwan in that situation. So we're ramping up for exactly what he's talking about. He said this will give the perfect shade to say, you know what? We're going to default because, again, it's going against China, it's going against Russia, and we need a way to kind of get out. He said we cannot keep spending the money like we do. He said, to be honest with you, though, the government is pretty strong to where they could probably kick the can down the road, maybe a year or two more. He said, but again, it's going to cause a major problem. He said, Armstrong said this is a perfect storm for the dreaded stagflation economy where it will stall and not get better until they see a new way of doing things. Most people think, well, how can you trust these people? Well, if you think about it, like we talked about, look at the ramp up of war. Look at the Fed saying they were going to cut rates, but they don't know if they can now because inflation is starting to climb back up. Now, there was a warning the other day for the banks saying the Fed has to cut rates because the banks are in such a volatility to where they need the funding. They need people borrowing money, and if they cut the rates, that will help them. However, the Fed's in a problem because now if they cut the rates again, inflation is going to even skyrocket higher than what it was when they started raising rates. So we're setting up for a very big storm that is almost, it's like, okay, what part of the black swan event is going to happen first? Because we're seeing rumors of war, almost biblical. We're seeing the fact that there's already shortages of food, and the fact of the cost of goods. Think of how much beef is costing you, chicken's costing you, and your normal groceries are costing you. If all of a sudden you see a shortage even more widespread, could you pay 50% more for every good that you're buying at the store? People are already struggling, like we talked about in yesterday's video. So if that takes place, what is the way out? It's war. It gives every excuse in the book to reset everything. That's exactly what he is saying. So are we setting up for that? I don't know. So a few things. I've done a weekly budget stockpile months back, but it talked about setting up grains, water, and goods. Looking at grains, waters, and goods. Goods meaning like, self-defense, things like Vanish was just talking about. We have to look at economic ways to start buying whole grains, buying rice, buying beans. Yes, that's easy. Start buying those weekly. If you buy them weekly, and even though bulk is cheaper, some people can't buy bulk. So if you could buy a pack of a pound of rice, pound of beans every week, you'll be surprised how quick that adds up. Now, rice and beans are one thing. You have to have a way to defend it. So you need to be buying the things that you can eat, but that can defend the things that you eat. Also, you have to look at other ways of putting money up. You can't just have cash. You can't just have all the money in the bank, because if all of a sudden, if this kind of thing happens, you lose everything. It wipes it out. So what are ways that has value across the world? Well, we just talked about food and security, but gold, precious metals. Now, people can't afford gold and silver now. I understand, but you better work towards it, because that may be the only way that we have true wealth going forward in a world that is going to be surveilled with digitized currency. So say you said, I have an extra 20 bucks this week. You may can buy a pack of beans, pinto beans or whatever, $3 or $4, rice, $2 or $3. Start doing that on a weekly or bi-monthly basis, 2 times a month. You'd be surprised how much you can build up and add up. Maybe a pack of shells would be wise, so you can start building up a good stockpile of that too, and making sure that you can save towards silver and gold purchases. Don't start looking at other ways to put money up other than paying off your debts, buying things that matter to you, and bartering goods and prepping goods that are perfect for you. If you can't build up 2 years worth of food, that's a lot of food. I understand. But you make him build up 6 months. You make him build up 3 months. Don't say, I'm not going to do it. But you have to say, I'm going to start doing it. It's never too late. Don't let anybody tell you it's too late. If you start doing it now, that's better. You will be better off today than you are a week from now. You'll be better off today than you are 6 months from now. So when you look back in 6 months, that's 6 months that you built up when everybody told you it's too late. It's not too late. Have a common sense approach to say, you know what? I heed these warnings. I understand where they're coming from. I'm not going to live my life in fear or panic, but I am going to say, let's be wise and start putting up some things. Do we honestly believe the economy's better? Do we honestly believe things are going to get a whole lot better? 6 in 10 crimes in Germany and Europe right now is done by migrants. Do you honestly believe it's going to get better here when we have just an influx of people? Do you think more people coming in is going to make our economy better? We're setting up for that perfect storm that he was talking about. And then, of course, the wars. We have to have a friendly respect for what we're hearing, so then we can heed the warning so we won't have the panic. The point of prepping is to not have the panic. To be prepared is to not panic. And so I'm challenging you, don't worry, don't fret, don't think it's too late, don't fear. Put your faith in God's wisdom that he is giving you. Start putting up some goods and making sure that you are relying on the wisdom Christ gives you, but also relying on him, and spiritually prepare for what's fixing to go on. Because as he said, America could kick the can down the road for a few more years. He said possibly, very much so, because we are that strong. He said, but the fact of Japan imploding, the fact that Europe's economy is imploding, he said it will bring America down. He said, and then you will see all-out war, because they need the scapegoat. They need the black swan. They need the fact of the war to start all this in process. Something to think about. Guys, remember the sponsor. Hey, remember you'll be signed up for a truck. Check that sponsor out. I actually use that device each and every day for my EDC. It's a very good purchase. Check them out below. Thank you so much for watching. Our goal is to always talk about things that are relevant to us. It's not to scare you, not for panic, only for preparedness. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.